There is another important thing that you would understand from your lunchbox trade story. We have seen in diminishing marginal utility theory that as we consume more, we enjoy less. This was so beautifully evinced in this lunch trade observation of yours, which was with cookies and brownies commodities. See how. Initially, you decided to trade more quantities of cookies with less quantities of brownies. Point A, B. This was because your sense of satisfaction per brownie was more than per cookie, as brownies were scarce and cookies were in abundance. So you were ready to trade 4 units of cookie to obtain 1 unit of brownie in order to maintain the same satisfaction level. But as you started getting more brownies, the pattern of trade shifted otherwise. Now you would trade less cookies for brownies. Point D, E. As can be seen, initially, for maintaining the utility level, larger changes would have to be done in cookies as compared to changes in brownies. However, as the cookies become scarce, the direction would reverse. Now larger changes would have to be done in brownies to changes in cookies to maintain the utility values.
Great! Explains my behavior very well. Yes, initially, I was keen to trade fewer brownies for more cookies. But later, the number of cookies decreased. I started weighing cookies more and then wanted more brownies per cookie traded.
Yes, my dear, another jewel of economics for you. Let's quantify how your trade-offs changed over the last 5 days. Let me define a metric that measures the trade-off between cookies and brownies at various points in the indifference curve. This metric is equal to delta change in Y divided by delta change in X. As we have seen, a change in brownie is called marginal utility of brownies, MU of brownies, and change in cookies is called marginal utility of cookies, MU cookies. And this new metric, which is decreasing over time, is called marginal rate of substitution, which is calculated as MU of cookies divided by MU of brownies. So, the above point is explained clearly by MRS. Initially, MRS is 4, that is point A to point B, and over time, that is point D to point, the MRS reduces to 0.20. Or, in more general words, we can say that if consumer has more of cookies, he will be fine with trading greater quantities of cookies with smaller quantities of brownies to maintain utility. This is intuitively appealing. If consumer has less of cookies, it is more valuable in terms of brownies. Last insight on this topic. Please notice the shape of the curve. It is sagging towards the origin, right? This is because, as explained just now, initially a large decrease in cookies has to be done to trade a small increase in good brownies, as brownies is scarce. And as one proceeds further down, a small decrease in cookies has to happen to trade a larger increase in brownies, as cookies become scarce. This kind of curve is called a convex curve. It cannot have been concave, as it would have defied the MRS concept, the reduction in MRS over time. So, all indifference curves have to be concave. So, we have learned 2 things under this learning objective. Marginal rate of substitution is the proportion of one good that consumer would be willing to give up for more of other to maintain the same satisfaction levels. Thus, marginal rate of substitution of cookies for brownies would be the amount of brownies that consumer is willing to give for an additional unit of cookie. Said another way, The marginal rate of substitution measures the additional amount of one good required to maintain a constant level of utility when a unit of another good is taken away. Marginal rate of substitution goes on diminishing as we move down the indifference curve, as consumer will be having more units of brownies and fewer units of cookies. As this substitution continues, each unit of cookies becomes more and more valuable because of its scarcity. This second concept is similar to the marginal utility and the law of diminishing marginal utility explained earlier, right?